The final scene of The Axe Forgets is where I believe we meet the real Luthen for the first time. Between Ferrix and Aldhani, we met Phantom Luthen, a man who showed very little personality on the outside, left very little memorable about his presence behind him, and seemed almost supernaturally prepared for any ludicrously dangerous situation he found himself in, calmly pulling Cassian out of multiple fires without raising his heart rate. In the front of the gallery, he's drunken Londo Mollari in character and a more refined Brian Badonde in visual appearance.
Hello?
Out front, he's surrounded by the priceless relics of a few dozen civilizations, but in this cluttered back room, he looks like he's already one of them. This is the scene where the curtain finally drops, and honestly, the real Luthen is kind of a mess. We find him huddled in a back room looking like a man who hasn't seen a vitamin or a full night's sleep since the Republic fell. He's swapped the lustrous finery for a plain grey overcoat that looks like it was stolen from a thrift store, and his hair is doing things that defy both fashion and physics. The shine is completely gone, everything is dulled. His hair, his robes, his rings, his eyes. He's just a tired old man twiddling knobs on a radio hoping for a signal that isn't coming. Kleya's presence here is the only thing keeping the room from collapsing under the weight of Luthen's anxiety. She isn't playing the role of the assistant we know her as so far, she is the pragmatic anchor here. When she tells him to go clean some coins, it's a sharp, almost parental dismissal of his spiraling. She knows there is nothing left for him to do but wait. It's at this moment I realize they live here, in the gallery. Maybe in adjoining rooms, maybe there's an apartment upstairs. I can't imagine they leave the place empty often. The idea that they'd go home and leave all the treasure and all the very naughty tech out back unguarded is kind of ludicrous. They live here, but this isn't home. The mention of the walkway packs, one in the gallery and one in the Fondor, redefines their entire existence. They're homeless. This is their staging ground, or their primary one at least. A life built on the assumption of flight at any moment. It doesn't even look weird from the outside. Mildly scandalous, yes, but a rich, charismatic older man living with an attractive younger woman employee is a pretty good cover. Luthen's admission that he wasn't careful with Cassian is the most vulnerable we've ever seen him. He's a man who lives by strict, cold protocols, yet he confesses that he wanted this heist too much. By pulling in a thief like Andor, he created a trace, a loose thread that could unravel everything he's built. Kleya's response, "It's never going to be perfect," is the hard truth of the rebellion. It's a messy, complicated, compromised business, and Luthen is struggling with the fact that he can't engineer the perfect strike. I rewatched this scene shortly after watching an episode of Australian crime drama Mr. In-Between, where Rai Shoesmith finds his father naked a mile away in the middle of a residential street in the middle of the night. This scene feels like it has a similar vibe. The kind of thing that sadly too many of us have experienced, where you have to come downstairs and encourage Nana back to bed again because she's put her overcoat on and is trying to fry a pair of socks. The scene ends with a return to the masks. Kleya reminds him they have clients in the morning, forcing the performance of the antique dealer back into the schedule. In just a few hours, somehow, this exhausted old man will be a ball of energy and wit, shining again, laughing again. Say it with me, because that's what rebellion often looks like. The exhaustive, soul-crushing performance of normalcy is the sheer force of will required to be loud and gregarious when you're spiritually naked and haven't slept in 3 days. As the lights in the gallery finally die, the silence on Coruscant mirrors the heavy, suffocating quiet on the hills of Aldhani. Across the galaxy, the rebels are tucked into the dirt, unsuccessfully counting imaginary Dre jumping over a fence, trying to find a version of sleep that won't come. On the dam, Gorn is waiting for a sunrise that will either make him a hero or an example. In the sky above him, the Eye of Aldhani is beginning to stir. The heist isn't coming anymore. It's here.